Hi there, friend. Welcome to Gabby Likes to Read. Today I'll be doing a different kind of video for you. It's going to be a reading vlog, but not just any reading vlog. I'm going to allow chance, or should I say, my Vader mug to determine what books I read for a week. So if you watched my bookshelf tour, you probably already saw this Vader mug, but what you don't know is that in this mug, I have a very wide range of reading prompts, as well as books that I have had on my shelves for longer than a year. My 23 books that I want to get to in 2023 are in here, some books that have been gifted to me, and various things. So I could literally get anything from taking a prompt or a slip of paper from this mug, and I'm terrified. I usually am pretty good when it comes to TBRs when I set them. I'm very much a mood reader, but I do like to have an idea of at least 2 to 3 books on my TBR that I kind of have in mind for the month that, okay, if I just don't know what to read, I can at least pull from there. So allowing a jar or allowing chance to decide what books I read for the week is a little terrifying. But let's just jump into the picks. Let's jump into it. Let's not overthink this. So I'm trying to dig really deeply so that I don't pick the first thing that I see. I'm so scared. Okay, let me. All right, so the first one that we will be reading. I know this is right. A library book. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this one. Let me go get the book because I know what book it's going to be. Okay, I'm back. So I am going to be. Oh, sorry. I already get it. Okay, so I'm back. I'm really excited that I got this selection. Thank you, God. Thank you, Lord, that I got this selection because I have a book that I started reading a few days ago, and I really want to get this book read as soon as possible. I know that I'm at least going to give it a 4 star. I just have that high of expectation for it. One of my favorite authors, Jasmine Holmes, really loves this author's work. And I just have been seeing this book circulating on and off on various platforms. I'm like overly excited about this pick, but I will be reading So Many Beginnings by Bethany C. Morrow. And I think it's called the Classics Remix series, where there are a couple of different books, or I shouldn't say couple. There are like 4 or 5 different books that are classics. Like I want to say Wuthering Heights is one, and a couple other books that were remixed by Black or BIPOC authors in general, I believe, and given a little remix. And so I'm really excited about this one. So yes, I am really excited that I got to select this book because I already was reading it. So that's like not an additional book that I have to throw into my TBR. It's actually one that I'm already reading and very excited about. So yeah, I will probably give you a update when I get to the 50% mark for my overall thoughts. Hello, friend. This is our first 50% update of So Many Beginnings. Sorry for the glare. By Bethany C. Morrow. And so, yeah, the first update that I have is I'm very much enjoying this book at the 50% mark. One thing that I really do appreciate that Bethany C. Morrow has done with this book is that she has really done a great job of keeping the personalities of the characters intact. Like Amy is, still very much youthful and rambunctious and always willing to do a twirl and get attention and kind of is like that baby of the family kind of mindset. Beth is still super sweet. Meg is very much the motherly figure from the 4, and Joe is very much a wordsmith loving to write, also is considered someone who is fine with getting her hands dirty, working with the guys, getting things done. So very happy to see that the personalities of these characters are still very much intact, and also the fact that she was able to keep the pivotal moments and plot pushing items
that are within the original and push those things forward in the book, because I was a little nervous, to be honest with you, when I saw the page count for this book. I believe it's right under 400 pages, or like under like maybe 350 or right around that. And the original, I think, is a little bit over, like maybe 450 pages. So I was kind of nervous. I'm like, oh, how are we going to get through all of this stuff that happens in Little Women and still be able to get to where we need to get to by the end? But I, rest assured, Bethany definitely knows what she's doing, because she has included a lot of pivotal points in the book, pivotal conversations, and kept that intact as well. And at the same time, she is including a lot of really important conversations that are relevant to what it would be like to be a Black family in 1863 during the Civil War. There's a particular conversation that takes place within this story, or where I've gotten to so far, where we have Amy, who is obviously the youngest, and then she happens to stumble upon a visitor that comes to the house, and she pretty much opens the door, and the visitor is a white woman, and she's come to help to check in on Beth, her older sister, check on her health. And there is this really awkward moment where essentially Amy opens the door, but she like opens it with just a crack enough to see her. And, Constance introduces herself. And then Amy's like, okay, kind of waiting for her to say the magic words. And then Constance finally says that. She says, may I come in? And Amy says, yes, of course you can, and opens the door and lets her come in. And previously in the chapter before, Mamie and the four young women, the four daughters, had a conversation about, how they're, now that they're free, they are getting the respect that they deserve. They're getting the autonomy that they did not have while they were enslaved. And even to the point of someone can't just like walk in their door without asking permission first. And so to see that, Bethany included that conversation and included that moment in this book was just very timely, and it made sense for the story. And there's so many other moments like this where they're having these real conversations, and they're being really forthright and honest about where they stand, how they feel. They're, yes, they are young women who are, you know, coping with the fact that their father is gone, and fighting in the war, just like how the four young women were in the original. But they have other things to grapple with as well, as they would as, young Black women. And so I'm thankful that, Bethany has done that in this book. And it's just so refreshing to see the perspective of what it would be like to be a Black family during this time. The only thing that I kind of regret is that I don't own this book. This is a library book, so I'm not able to, annotate and highlight and scribble all up in the margins like I want to, but I am excited to be able to own this book in the future and annotate it properly. So yes, I'll check in with you when I am finished with this book, and we'll give you my final thoughts.
Hi there, friend. I have an update for you. I have finished So Many Beginnings by Bethany C. Morrow, and I'm giving it a 5 star. It was so good. It was so good. I feel like if you've read Little Women and if you're a fan of the classics of any kind, definitely pick this book up because it was such a rich story. The characters, like I said in the previous clip, like the characters that were presented in Little Women, they were preserved so well in this book, the personalities and everything. But also, I just loved the fact that, the important conversations, like I mentioned, I keep emphasizing that, like how important the conversations of, what happened when it came to enslavement, and how it wasn't just the prospect of like the Confederates and the Union, and how even these, freed people colonies, how there were these colonies, but the Union wasn't completely sold on it. And the complexities of Reconstruction and all the different aspects of what was going on during this era were not ironed out, but were discussed so well in this book. And yeah, no, it was just really cute. Like there was obviously the necessary heaviness that was there because of what was transpiring during that time. But I appreciated just being able to see a glimpse of what it was like to be Black during that time period, and making your way through the decisions that people made. I loved how each one of the young women in this story, were not, I don't know, how would I say this? Like Beth, was pursuing something that was truly her own and had, not that was truly her own, didn't really have anything particularly linked to her sisters. And it was something that she felt deep within her that she wanted to do. And she went and pursued it. Like each of these young women had something within them that they wanted to pursue and they went for it. Um, and they had such courage and tenacity and power behind them. And yeah, I loved this book. I'm so sad that I did not buy this book. This is a library book. So I'm really sad that I did not buy this book before, but I definitely will be picking this up because I really want to reread this and underline and annotate and highlight and write in the margins and do all of the things like seriously, because this is a very well written book and I'm definitely on the Bethany C. Morrow train. She, like, read the author's note. That's all I'm gonna say. Read this book, read the author's note, and yeah, let's talk about this in the comments. If you've read this, please let me know in the comments below. And when you see this and you have read this, just let me know in the comments below. I will want to talk about it forever. Okay, so with that being said, let's pick out the next book that we're going to be reading for this week. I don't know if this is going to be still a week. It's going to be 2 weeks. I'm not sure how long this vlog is going to be, but let's just go ahead and pick the next book from the TBR jar. We're back at it with the Vader mug. I'm very nervous. I'm very nervous because I feel like I had a prompt last time, and I feel like this time I'm going to get an actual title because, like I said, there's a bunch of different random stuff in here. So scared. We got, oh, Charming is a Verb. Okay, I've already read this, so we're gonna get rid of this one. So let's go back to this one. But didn't I say I was gonna get a title? I did. Okay, 3-word title. 3-word title. Oh, I'm looking at a few right now. Okay, I'm just gonna do it. It's gonna be The East Indian by Brenda Chari. Let me do a quick read of the synopsis and then get back to you. Oh, I love that. Okay. All right. I love reading a book with a little known historical figure. So this follows the life of Tony, I believe is his name, and he was the first Indian immigrant to live or land in Jamestown in the 1630s, I think it says. Yeah, in the 1630s. And yes, that is all I know. I just read the little blurb at the top for my quick synopsis. So yeah, it is, let's see how many pages that is. Do I love a good author's note? I saw author's note. Oh, okay, it's 246 pages. So I should be able to get through this fairly quickly. I don't know. I'm a slow reader and the font is kind of small. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to this. I did want to get to this before the end of the year. So this is a great incentive to get to it. So thank you, TBR Prompt Jar. Hi there, friend. So about that mid-book review, that didn't happen because I just finished the book. I am still not sure what my feelings are toward this book. I am giving it a 3-star. I did like it. There were some things that I really enjoyed, others that I didn't so much, but I will share more thoughts once I've had a day or so to process my overall thoughts about this book. But to give a little context, because as you saw, I didn't really know much about this book before I picked it up. This story is following Tony, and he is known as the first East Indian to make it to the shores of Virginia. So we follow him as he makes his way from India to London, as well as his life when he gets to Virginia, the friends he makes, and the tragedy that he faces, and all of those types of things. And so
I did appreciate and I did like that this book is told from the perspective of him reflecting on his life. And so I don't know what that literary device or plot device is called. I don't know. But essentially, it's like similar to Jane Eyre and a few other books that I've read where they're a person's kind of like reading back their autobiography and sharing about their experiences. So I did appreciate that. I liked that part of the story. But like I said, I don't really know where I stand as far as like final thoughts. And I don't really, I haven't really put my finger on exactly what I didn't like in this story that made me not want to give it a full like 4 star, because it's definitely not a 4 star. So that's why I gave it a 3. Okay, enough with that. So because I finished the book, it is time to pick another selection from the Vader mug. So let's jump into it. Let me know in the comments below if you think I'm going to pull a prompt or an actual book title. Okay, here we go. I'll show you before I read it. Oh, it's upside down. That's not helpful. Ooh, book that I bought because of a booktuber. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so scared. There's so many books that I bought because of a booktuber. I kind of am in a YA kind of mood, especially after the historical. I've been reading 2 historical books back to back. Okay, I think I know the book I'm going to read. Okay, so I picked a book, and I will be reading From the Desk of Zoe Washington by Janae Marks. I heard about this book via Monet from Life is Monet, and she read it and really enjoyed it. I think she read this book as well as the second book in the series and very much enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to reading it and seeing how I like it. It has been quite a while since I've read a middle grade book. So yeah, I'm hoping that I enjoy it. It's not too long. I want to say it's like less than 300 pages. Yeah, it's about like 289. So it should be fairly quick to get through. And yeah, all I know about this book is that we are following Janae Marks, and her father is incarcerated, and she believes that he is innocent. So she is writing letters to him, and I believe she wants to be like a journalist of some kind as well. So yeah, that is the synopsis that I have for you. So I will share with you a mid-book update whenever that happens. Hi there, friend. I left my book upstairs, so I will pop it somewhere around here. But I am at the halfway point with Zoe Washington, and I am enjoying myself. This is such a really blend. This is such a cute book. It's a blend of like, she's 12 years old. She is a baker, and she wants to join this baking competition and, win this money, as well as just have her own, cookbook. But also in the same like breath, there is like this heavier tone in it because she is, getting to know her father for the first time. He is in jail, in prison, for a very serious crime, and her really reconciling that. And what I like about this book is that I personally feel like it doesn't read too old. Like, it's definitely a middle grade book, and Zoe is figuring things out and rationalizing and, I guess, reasoning from a place of being like a 12-year-old. It doesn't sound like a 12-year-old who's like, I don't know, that's really should be 16, but they're making it seem like she's 12. She really is 12 years old. She's having like little like bickering things with her best friend. And yeah, like there's those elements, but also she's, you know, learning about things about the criminal justice system and different things like that in a way that's very tempered and step by step. And yeah, I'm just enjoying it. I'm definitely going to finish this book very quickly, so I will be back with another update fairly soon. Hi there. I have an update for you. I finished Zoe Washington, or From the Desk of Zoe Washington by Janae Marks, and I'm giving this 5 stars. This was such a delight to read. What I love most about Zoe in this book is that she is just a regular kid. She is a 12-year-old. She's reasoning from that point of view, and she's approaching it from this pure place of just not understanding how and why an innocent person would end up in prison for something they did not do. Kind of reminds me of just how it what it's like to be a child, what it's like to not be jaded by society and the things that you see, and to really approach things with the best intentions. Um, yeah, she definitely has her moments where she is a brat, but what I do appreciate is that she sees consequences for the mistakes that she makes in this book. And overall, there are some really sweet moments. I definitely teared up. Chapter 34, that's all I'm going to say. Chapter 34, because it was just so sweet and so wholesome. So I really enjoy this story. If you're looking for a middle grade book, or you just want to read a wholesome book, then I definitely recommend this book. It reminds me a little bit of Love Radio in that it's a very cute book, has really sweet moments in it, but also it does deal with certain harder topics, but in a way that's very palatable, in a way that is, I would say, age appropriate. After that, you probably saw the clip of me picking out another book from my TBR jar prompt, my Vader mug, and it was a book with yellow on the cover. I kind of struggled with that, and you probably already saw because this is kind of in frame, but I did pick up Rootless, which is by Crystal Zara Apia. And this is a story about a young woman who is named Fa, and she's married to Sam, who is her close friend. And they end up getting married. They end up falling in love, getting married, and having a child. And so one day, and as is said in the synopsis, so it's not really a spoiler, but one day Sam gets home and he sees that Fa is gone, and she has a flight that's booked to Ghana, and that's all he knows. And it's him and their 4-year-old daughter Olivia at home in London, and they're trying to figure out what's going to happen next. So far, I am enjoying this story. It's very interesting to see both of their perspectives. This is a dual point of view book, and we start the story off kind of like with Sam getting that news, and then we work our way completely all the way back where we're seeing their whole relationship from the get-go. We see a lot about what Fa went through when she first came from Ghana as a young woman, as a young child essentially, and went to live with her relatives in London. Also how those things that she experienced in the past, how it has influenced her future. It has affected the way that she processes stress and processes her emotions. She finds a lot of different ways in order to do that, and both harmful and healthy. Um, and yeah, all of those things. So I am enjoying it. I'm interested to see how this story will finish out, and of course, I will be back to share my final thoughts when I do. Hi there. I have an update for you. I have finished Rootless, and I think I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5 stars. So, this book was very well written. The characters were very interesting. Also, not like when I say interesting, but also not, I mean like they're regular people. I feel like this book did a very good job of just showing the complexity of humanity. Rambling, but I do I did enjoy this book. It was very I think tough to read in some parts. So I definitely recommend checking the trigger warnings before entering to this book to make sure that you are fully prepared for the topics that are brought up in this book. With this story, you're really looking at a couple that is, struggling to work together, struggling to overcome different things that they're going through internally, as well as just challenges, familial challenges with their parents, with their siblings, and their work. you know, all of those things are just wrapped up in this book. And the author, I feel like, did such a great job of, discussing those issues and how the external things that happen in life can affect your marriage and yourself primarily, and how you go through the world. Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts. I feel like I will have more of a concise uh, explanation or synopsis when I get to my wrap up. But yeah, I do recommend this book with caution because, like I said, there are things in here that are triggering. And so definitely check those trigger warnings. And then also, you know, this isn't a book where I agree with everything that the characters do for sure. Um, and so take that in consideration when you are approaching this book. And I'll leave it there. Okay, so with that being said, I think it is time to pick our last book in the vlog from my Vader mug. So let's get that. I think this is the first time I'm doing the Vader mug in this room. So I hope you can see the Vader mug from down here. I'm just gonna try to, okay. This is gonna be difficult to do with one hand, but I will do my best to show you first what this says, and it's probably upside down. It is. Okay. 2-word title. All right, I will be back and get that book. Okay, so I picked out the last book, and it is going to be These Walls, The Battle for Rikers Island and the Future of America's Jails by Ava Federally. And yes, I'm finally getting to this book. I mentioned this book in my book haul video. I got this from Avid Reader Press, so thank you for sending me a copy. And I've been meaning to get this book for so long, but I haven't gotten to it yet. So I do want to go through it. I want to take my time and, annotate it and, take notes, because I read the first couple of, as you see, there's a bookmark in here. I read the first couple of pages of it, and then for some reason I put it down and I didn't pick it back up. But it has nothing to do with this book. I think it has everything to do with the other books that I was reading and what I had going on at the time. So I'm looking forward to getting to this book and, giving you my, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to give you midway thoughts because it is a fairly short book, or if I'm just going to give you my final thoughts, but I guess you'll find out when you keep watching. Hello, so I'm back and I have finished These Walls by Ava Federally, and I gave this 4 stars. I know that Ava had originally written this book for a Architectural Digest article, and I thought it was going to really heavily focus on the architecture part and not so much the other aspects of the criminal justice system. But I was pleasantly surprised that she definitely took her time with gathering insights from people that were formerly incarcerated, people currently incarcerated, the family of the incarcerated, different diplomats, people that actually work in the different prisons and jails, as well as the architects that are building these facilities. So there was a lot of different perspectives in here. I really had a great time. I annotated it, like I wrote a lot in this book, but I just didn't tab it, so you can't really see the evidence of it. But if you were to flip through, I think I'm gonna have a couple B-rolls of me flipping through the book. Yeah, I would recommend this to anyone who is interested in learning more about the criminal justice system as it is now, as well as the history of it. I feel like it's a good kind of taster appetizer to getting into, that kind of research. She did a really good job of referencing a lot of the books that she read and the articles and people that she interviewed in order to gather the insights that she did for this book. So I definitely recommend it. And I would say overall, I feel like this vlog process was pretty successful. I read around 5 books altogether, and I enjoyed most of them. So I read The East Indian, I gave like a 3, 2.5, 3 star. Rootless, I gave 4 stars. These Walls, I'm giving 4 stars. From the Desk of Zoe Washington, I gave 5 stars. And So Many Beginnings, I gave 5 stars. And it was one of my top books of the year. So I hope you enjoyed watching this vlog, and let me know in the comments below what your thoughts were on any of the books that I read, and also if you had a top
book that you enjoyed this past year. And I will see you in the next one. Please take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.